It's me, Faris, in front of you to speak something about some topics. We know that the current nation and its situation. At first itself, I say about the cuttings of Martin Luther King. We know that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a great scholar, he says that to his nations and to his friends, which was reflected in the civil rights movement. We know that in America, he says that at last we will not remember the words of our enemies, but we will remember the words of our friends, which they be as like a silence move. So silence is a problem. Once a teacher came to the class and write in the board 4 points. Which was that points? At first he write that you want to read critically. After that, second point was that you want to write consciously. Then the third point he written on the board is, what's the point? Speak fluently. And the last one point, the fourth point, the last point, we want to remember that point. That is, you want to tell truth. This point make that teacher to think for a while. Not for a while, last for so many times. Because we all want to remember one thing, that the word which used by that teacher. Tell truth. You want to tell truth. At that time itself, the teacher remember that he is an aptable one for me to say this kind of a topic. The teacher think for a while. At that time, he remembered that this is not a word which I want to use, because I am also not using truth in my life. That was the point which that teacher think at that time. So we want to think that teacher think as like that. We want to think that silence mood is a disaster for us. My topic is itself, that is danger of silence. So when we take silence, we know that last days we hear about the war which happened in Russia and Ukraine against them. What is the rank of Russia? The rank of Russia is in population 9th. And in the world who have so many weapons, the rank of Russia is 2nd. So we want to remember that in population they are 9th, and in weapons they are 2nd. What is the situation of Ukraine? In population they are their rank is 39, and in weapons they are 22. They gain victory by defending their own nation, and they protest for their own nation. What is the reason? They protest for their nation because they think that every civilian of our nation will protest against Russia, and we want freedom from their part. Russia is saying that Ukraine have so many persons who have a mind to be a part of Russia. They are saying that kind of a words. But we want to think one that Ukraine win in they defeat Russia the way which they can. The way they use is they don't be as a silence. So if they make a silent mood in that situation, we can see a lost Ukraine in this world. Now also we will say the history of our Ukraine. So I will say a history in my life. When I was studying in my madrasa period, at that time, when all time I reach at my home, my father will look like this. For a while he will look like this. Then he will be in the mood of silence. I think that 6 or 7 times it repeated. After one day, after madrasa, I ran for a floodlight tournament which led in my native. At that time, I wait for a while, and I say, in my childhood, I have a hobby that to give everyone hand, to every players, I will congratulate, your play was best, and I have an opinion about that. I also like to be play as like this. That was my comments to them. At that time, I think that I will be a strong one if I speak to these kinds of people. So after that, I think that in seventh time, I reach at my home. That time, I think that my madrasa was completed at 7th and I reach at my home at 11th. Silence, there is no any kind of silence. Sudden beat of my father. It seems like a celebration which a temple, we know that firecrackers will be cracked at the time which we see in temples. As like that, my father beat me several times. So, silence is danger. It will make so many consequences. We know that in our world itself, it led to the war, genocides, and so many discrimination. This all become because of silence. So silence is not a medicine. But Islamic concept is that if a man be silent, that is the point. So here I say the topic about the world silence. So we want to think these all topics in our topic. So I conclude my words. Wa akhir dawana alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum.